So my name is Meredith Clinton, and I am with Blue Prism. We really pride ourselves on being the founders of RPA. We are so happy to be here. It is a privilege to speak to all of you, so thank you so much for coming and thank you for your time. So we have an innovation center at Blue Prism. This started about 7 months ago, so it is really in its infancy. And what I'm going to talk about today are the different things that we're doing as an innovation center and our purpose and kind of the first innovation that we're going to go to market with. So it's very exciting for us. So I'm going to start really basic, and I know that this crowd, there's a whole diversity of people that know all kinds of things, but I'm going to start with what is RPA. So RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation, and it's a software. It's not an actual robot. It sits inside of the computer, and it does what a human would do. So for example, if you have a stack of pages that are printed, 200 pages, RPA can go through them, even if they're handwritten, decide what it is, go through different applications on the computer and do what a human would do, whether it's filling out a sales order, a PO, all the way to very complex things, looking at video, things like that. So basically, RPA is taking the robots out of the human, so humans can do, higher level thinking activities. So I'm going to give you some examples that we work on. This is not the Innovation Center. This is Blue Prism as a whole. We have about 1,700 clients. 2 of them are Coca-Cola and Pfizer. So for Coca-Cola, they came to us, and their HR and finance team said, we just want to optimize our operations. What can you help us with? So we looked, but not getting too technical, we looked at their processes and their operations, and we deployed RPA robots. And we took their time, from 8 hours a day to 24 hours a day. Robots, they don't take time off. They don't get sick. They can work all of the time. And so what they were able to do is free up that time for the rest of their workers without adding any extra headcount. And that is the power of RPA. Another example from a well-known client, Pfizer. They were doing a lot of manual reconciliation over and over and over again, and they just wanted to speed this up and be done with it. So we deployed our robots, and we saved them 220,000 hours. So that is just one activity where we employed RPA and got them immediate savings. So let's talk about the Innovation Center. So our center, what we do is we solve billion-dollar problems using RPA. Sometimes this is just normal uses of RPA. Sometimes it's with tech stacking. And what tech stacking is it's taking existing technologies, coupling it with RPA, and coming out with a completely new innovation. So if you think about something that happens with Google, how do you pair this with RPA to solve a billion-dollar problem? By the way, if you have a billion-dollar problem you would like to tell us about, our booth is over there. I'd love to meet you. I never meet a stranger. So what's one of the ones that we've come up with? So I want to tell you about 2 trends that have led us to our newest innovation. So the first one I'm going to talk about are the trends in technology, and the second one is the SAP S/4HANA migration. It's a long name. So the trends in technology. So if you look at the 10 most valuable companies in the world, 6 of those are tech companies. If you think about what's happening in companies today, and a lot of you know these examples already, Uber is a transportation company that has no cars. Airbnb is a hotel company that doesn't have a single hotel room. Amazon, until recently, is a retailer, and they never had a store. Well, until recently with Whole Foods. So you have 3 companies, transportation, hospitality, and retail. Those aren't the companies, they're tech companies. Everything is changing, and it's changing ever faster. 41% of jobs right now, and I'm sure that you guys have heard some of this, they're not going to exist anymore. They're going to be replaced by RPA, or they're simply not going to exist. If you have a kid and they're majoring in finance or accounting right now, they might end up doing something completely different for what they're trained for today. A good example, 20 years ago, I did marketing. When I graduated, there was no such thing as digital marketing. That's new. Bloggers, YouTube stars, Instagram influencers. This didn't happen. So what does the next 10 years look like for us? 500 million jobs will be created in the AI space in the next 10 years. This is where we are going. This is where the movement is happening. So to talk about what's currently going on, if you talk to recruiters, 70% of them say we can't fill the jobs because we simply don't even have the talent. The top right-hand corner, what are the two that they can't find out of the top 5? Software engineer, software architect. And then you look at what's the highest turnover rates? Software, it's technology. Why? Because everybody's recruiting from everybody else. There's not enough to go around. It's like the musical chairs all over the world with software architects. The bottom right-hand graph, this is correlative data. But if you look at that, people are working into much later into their lives, right? So this has a multitude of reasons. But if you look at it from a software perspective, you look at it from a legacy software perspective, guess what? All of those softwares that happened in the 80s and in the 90s, what's happening to those workers? They want to retire. So they're working later and later, but you're not going to have these people to run these legacy systems anymore. So what are you going to do? So I want to switch over now completely to the SAP S/4HANA migration. So when you look at SAP, it is just basically this massive software program that runs all kinds of software, from HR to inside of companies, HR, operations, sales, CRM. It's basically an ERP system, touches all kinds of things in business. 77% of the world's financial transactions run on an SAP system. Guess what? SAP is upgrading. It's going to S/4HANA. Right now, mainly, it's switching over from ECC, which is the older, what's now going to be the legacy system, over to S/4HANA. Okay? That means in 2025, SAP will look at all their ECC customers and say, we're no longer going to service that. You're going to have to service that someplace else. Well, that costs money. So you're going to have a choice. SAP users will face this choice. Do they migrate and go through what is going to sound like a painful migration to migrate everything over to take advantage of the technology? Or do they opt to pay a premium for additional support? They're going to have to pick their poison. On top of this, like we just covered, there's already a shortage of software engineers and SAP consultants. So what could possibly go wrong? And that's why we said, hey, this sounds like $1 billion problem. Let's try to solve this with robots. And that's what the Innovation Center has done. So again, to look at this, I'm not going to go through the whole infographic here, but in the bottom left-hand corner, just to give you an idea, there's 42,000 customers on ECC right now who have not migrated yet. We have one oil and gas customer. It's going to take them 10 years to migrate. If all of these 42,000 customers had 15 consultants to work on their projects, it would take them 108 million days to complete. It's impossible. It cannot be done with humans alone. That's why you have to think about humans and digital when you're thinking about human resources and talent. There's human talent and there's digital talent. So here's how we're solving it. So the left-hand robot, he's the normal robot. Pfizer and Coca-Cola come to us with a problem. We say, okay, let's look at your processes. We put this robot, we teach it what to do, and the robot goes out and synthesizes this information, right? The new robot we have on the right is digital talent. We know that there are 41,000 companies that need this. So what we did is we said, okay, we're going to have a robot that out of the box can already help out with the SAP for HANA migration. So we already have something that helps it out. It's an accelerator. Right now it has 400 transaction codes, or T codes. And what this does is it speeds up the process in the migration, 20 to 30%. And if you have the old system, ECC, it still works to accelerate that. So if you're not upgrading, it still works. If you want to upgrade, this is going to be a tremendous help in your upgrade. We're hoping that in the next 6 months, we have 3,000 T codes that are going to speed up this process. And if you already have migrated over to the S/4HANA system, we're going to be able to help out with that. It's going to make huge inroads in your software systems by using RPA. So this is the first innovation that we've come to the market with. We're going to be coming back with a lot more, so I hope you guys stay tuned. And if you have any legacy systems that you would like to talk about, or you have a $1 billion problem you think that we could help with, please let us know. And thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.